What you say?
I told you that it's time to start the show.
That you only meant well.
Yeah, the show's gonna do
Of
well.
course you did. What you say?
I said let's go.
That it's all for the best.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like the best podcast.
What you say?
God, do I have to keep repeating myself?
Just what we need. You decided this.
Hold up, I
What
thought we
you
both
say?
decided to do this.
What did she say?
I said let's start the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to Whatcha Say, an OC podcast. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I am Scott Daly.
And together,
We're the Dailies. This is the podcast where each and every week, my wife Elyse and I go through the hit 2000s teen drama, The OC, episode by episode. This week on the show, we are covering Season 2, Episode 22, The Showdown. It's not the penultimate episode, but it's
almost the penultimate.
What is before penultimate? I think we made the same joke last year.
Did
on
we?
the first season.
I don't remember.
But it's the one that's before the penultimate. Whatever that is.
The one before the penultimate.
It's the night before Christmas episode.
Nobody likes that night.
That's my sister's birthday. So some people like that night. Elyse.
No.
Some people do. Hey.
What?
Elyse.
Yeah.
How you doing this week?
I'm doing okay this week.
You seem a little tired. You're also sitting in the wrong place again. You always sit down in a place that's just a little bit too far off to the... Where are you? It's the weirdest way to move your chair I've ever seen.
I used my legs, but I didn't want to push off to the side because that would be uncomfortable.
That'd be bad. How's my...
Now I can't see the screen.
How's my...
Now I knocked the keyboard off. See, Scott, just let me sit where I wanted to sit.
How is my unborn child doing?
Is
he doing
fine.
okay?
He's irritated with you.
What did I do to him?
Because you made him move.
He has ears now and he can hear things. So
yeah, so you better be careful with what you say on the show.
We spent the weekend playing
only kind words.
Just the important classics, including Mozart.
No bad words said around him anymore. Do you hear me, Scott?
Including Mozart, including Johann Johannesson, who's a very good movie composer that Elyse and I love.
May he rest in peace.
And of course, most importantly, the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack.
Scott decided there's no such thing as new classical, even though that's actually a genre.
I don't think I said that.
You're like, there's no such thing as new classical, Elyse. I was like,
it's
no.
an oxymoron.
It doesn't matter. It's the thing.
You can't be new classical. That's the...
We'll tell the people that invented it.
I will. I'll tell them. And I'm upset with them.
Well, they're going to tell you.
You ruined my whole joke leading up to I am playing Final Fantasy music so my child can hear it. Like, it was just long setup to this really great punchline, and you just like roll over it with your new classical stuff.
I didn't know you were trying to make it a joke.
Playing Final Fantasy VII music, like, as a classical music, that's a good joke.
You considered it to be new classical. It's not a joke.
It is, though.
But no, it's like new age classical music. It's fine.
No, it's just instrumental music.
It's pretty.
It is pretty.
Yeah.
Eris's theme. She died. Spoilers.
Like Johann. Bach and Johansson.
They're all dead. All of them.
Don't name your kid Johann. He'll croak.
Okay, like... I'm pretty sure Bach died of just, like, being old. I'm pretty sure.
No.
So, like, I don't think
he died because he found out his name was Johann.
Don't name your kid Johann or he will die eventually. Unlike all the other names in which you will be immortal immediately.
It's true.
Hey, Elyse, why don't you talk to me about Rosies and Thornies?
What about it? You want me to tell about that? It's the part of the podcast.
Introduce the section, please.
It's the part of the podcast where Scott and I
How
look back
many
on the week.
episodes of this have we done?
I didn't know what you wanted me to say about it. I mean, I can just say what it is. Where we look back on the week and we talk about what's good, what's bad, the Rosies and the Thornies. And we usually start with the bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell everyone I didn't really have a thorn from this past week. So
Elyse is cheating. Like,
I don't have one.
I feel like this is against the exercise. Like, the point is to remember that sometimes there's bad stuff that happens, but sometimes there's good. And if
sometimes there is bad stuff that happens.
There's something definitely bad happened to you this week.
Well, the only thing that I know that's bad is not really like my news to share. So
wait, what? Oh, I know what you
So
mean.
I'm not really
I
gonna.
thought you were talking about the president having coronavirus. I was like, what?
No, I could share that. No. No.
Also, that would not be a thorn. Oops.
Scott.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there's things that happen. It's not, it didn't directly happen to me, and it's not something that I feel like is mine to share.
Sure,
and so
sure.
I didn't have a thorn.
That's fair. You can get in on my thorn because I think you want to get in on this
Oh,
thorn.
I can get in on that one just fine.
Jump into this thorny pool with me where we can complain about our landlord because we're going to do that. Hope she doesn't listen to the podcast, but hey, if you are listening, our landlord, fix our gate. Our gate's been broken for, I looked at the email, it's been over a month.
Mm-hmm.
Fix it. So yeah, our gate's still broken. We're dealing with our landlord right now, and it's very difficult. I don't know. Did we explain the whole thing? I think we did on an earlier show.
Remember.
Our landlord passed away in February. Our old landlord, he died. It's probably named Johan, and he like his daughter
Johan Bob. Bob Johan.
His daughter and his sons took over, managing the properties he has. I don't even know how many he has.
More than one.
That you sure?
Why else would they make it an LLC?
To avoid liability? I don't know.
Guess.
Yeah, you're right though. If he didn't have more though, I always imagine him as this old guy who just had this house and just wanted to make a little money on the side. But I guess he had more than that. So, but they've been weird since they took over. Like they have lost their copy.
They don't
of the
have our
lease.
lease.
They don't have our lease. They've asked us if we can sign a new copy of the lease under the same terms just so they can have it in paperwork, and we've said yes like 6 times, and they said great, we'll come by tomorrow, and we said okay, and then they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And the stuff's been breaking, and we haven't been able to contact them. We're being invaded by bees, and I can't contact them. I'm just gonna have to take care of the bees myself.
I think that Penny got stung by a bee on her paw.
We don't know that for sure.
I'm just gonna say it's that.
Okay, Penny got stung by a bee on her paw.
That's my
Elyse has
thorn.
decided.
Penny got stung.
She's got a thorn in her paw.
Last
A bee thorn.
Last week it was the thorn in my butt. This week it's the thorn in Penny's paw.
I got stung too since we recorded last week.
Everyone's been stung. It's a good thing none of us are allergic.
We're being invaded by bees, and my landlord isn't doing anything about it, and the gate is broken. So if we needed to escape from the bee invasion out of our back gate, we couldn't because the gate doesn't open.
It's a good thing we have a front door.
Well, what if the bees take it over? What if the bees assume control of the front door?
No, that's not going to happen.
We don't even know. We don't think they're bees anymore.
Hey, Scott.
What?
Can you just continue with your...
This is my thorn. This is it.
The bees?
No, it's the landlord. And it's all connected.
Okay.
It's all connected, babe.
You just
look
keep,
at-
like
look at
spiraling.
My board up on the wall with the red lines between the bees, the landlord, Johan. It's all connected.
Okay. Johan?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, continue. What's your...
I guess I'm done. I guess.
Okay. No.
I was on a roll there, and you just killed my
Oh,
momentum.
I'm sorry.
Some sort of...
Well, we don't even think that they're bees. That's what you were saying.
Yeah. I don't know.
We're not sure what they are.
Look.
Not honeybees.
No, they're not honeybees. There might be yellow jackets, but I really didn't think they were yellow jackets.
No,
they're not mean enough.
I think I always get yellow jackets and wasps mixed up.
But they're not wasps.
They're not wasps.
A yellow jacket's a kind of wasp, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't know.
Look,
they're black and yellow.
Be experts. Reach out to us. doofmedia@gmail.com.
Let us know if you want a picture. We'll take one.
Yeah, we'll take pictures of some bees.
Maybe they're bees.
They could
as long as they're not those killer bees or killer
the murder hornets.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think we've both been stung, and we're fine.
Still alive, or are we?
Jesus.
Are we living in the Matrix, Scott?
Hey, Elyse, can we go to positive now? Let's go to a happy place and talk about.
I had a really good weekend.
You did.
I had a really good weekend.
Talk to me about your
weekend.
weekend.
I actually have 2 roses and no thornies. So my first Rosie is that on Saturday, a friend of mine who's also pregnant, she's
God, we have
10
so many
weeks
friends that are
ahead of me. So she's way far more pregnant than I am.
Everybody's pregnant right now.
Sprinkles Cupcakes decided to make these pregnancy flavors this past week for some of the celebrities that have also been pregnant for their cravings. And so she sent them to me and I was like, we should totally get those. She said, yeah, we should. And then we ended up having a little thing on Saturday, and she invited another friend who we had met who also is pregnant. and
I'm
we all
telling you.
had these sampling of cupcakes. And so they had 4 different flavors. They had dill pickle and cream cheese, which was actually our favorite of the pregnancy flavors, surprisingly so. Well, I guess it was basically a vanilla cupcake with vanilla icing,
Yeah.
and then just slight little hints of dill pickle in the icing, but not enough to really taste it.
I don't even think that, like,
I tasted the pickle.
there were little chunks of pickle in the icing, but the cream cheese flavor was so
So
overpowering.
overpowering.
I mean, really, the only dill pickly thing I tasted was the dill seasoning, which you could see. It was clear.
Yeah.
Like, you could see the dill
And the
mixed
chip.
in with the powder.
The chip that had the dill on it. But I thought it was good. My least favorite was the Flamin' Hot Cheeto.
That was gross.
It was a vanilla cupcake with Flamin' Hot Cheetos baked into the middle, and then it had Flamin' Hot Cheetos on top of the icing. And so basically, the Cheetos that were on top of the icing were really stale because they'd been sitting out in the air, and so they just get stale. And so it wasn't good.
And the Cheetos in the middle were really stale because they were baked, and all the moisture was baked out of the
So
Cheetos.
it wasn't good.
It was
And then
gross.
the other one was the chocolate candy explosion, where it basically was a chocolate cupcake with chocolate icing and then just candies on top
I
of
don't
it.
understand how that's a pregnancy craving cupcake.
Well,
I think
sometimes
she just
people
ran out of ideas.
no, sometimes people crave really sweet things like lots of candies.
Yeah, they're called humans, and
Yeah.
we all do it.
So, anyways, sometimes it's intensified when you're pregnant.
I wouldn't
And
know.
then we had red velvet, but everyone knows
And I
red
don't-
velvet's
yeah,
not any good.
Literally, she ran out of ideas.
Well,
She's
yeah,
like,
they just wanted to get like one classic one in there so that people would order it.
We got a
and-
great idea for a cupcake set. Pregnancy craving cupcakes. Boom. Great idea. All right. Obviously pickle. Obviously cheetah. Oh no. I'm out of ideas.
Yeah. Anyways, so we had that, which was really fun.
It was really cool. Like, we hung out in your friend's
Yard.
backyard, so we were still trying to be like safe with social
Mm-hmm.
distancing. It's so weird right now because, like, I'm not a hugger, but, like, you know, you like shake people's hand. Like, it's just
Yeah.
it's like we've been.
You don't know what everyone's comfortable with, and I always like give people
I'm
hugs.
not touching anyone. But, like, we're going to open houses right now, looking at houses, and
They
like,
want to shake your hand.
it just feels so weird to just like walk into a house and be like, and just kind of wave and be like, hey.
Yeah,
Instead of like
it's
shaking someone.
strange.
It's just weird. It's weird.
Yeah. But anyways,
But yeah, it was nice seeing those.
and we had the
folks.
puppies over, and that was fun too.
Ugh, the
Maybe that's
puppies.
my thorn. Penny doesn't know how to socialize with dogs.
I don't think you're overreacting to this.
It's
I really
okay.
do.
It's okay. But
She's
the other rose was that yesterday we went to the drive-through State Fair of Texas, which I was really excited
You
about.
have to explain what
because-
the hell that is because no one's
So,
gonna understand.
the Texas State Fair, which is something that has actually been in tradition for our family to go for years. I don't know if I ever told you why it was like such a big deal and why the corn picture is a big deal to my dad. Have I ever told you that?
No.
So whenever I was a baby, Adrian was little, they were at the state fair and there were people like coming around and taking pictures for publicity. And Adrian had a corn on the cob, and Adrian got a picture while she was eating the corn on the cob. And I'm in my mom's arms. You can't see my mom, but you see me like reaching down, trying to get the corn. So it was like a cute picture that was actually in the newspaper, and there was an article written about it.
Can I Google
And
this?
so I don't know.
State Fair. corn.
Anyways, ever since that
picture.
picture had been taken, my dad wanted to take a
Grandma.
picture at the fair of the kid eating the corn. So we would always take a picture. We'd pretend to have our mouths on it, and then he got it. But anyways, the State Fair of Texas has always been a big deal to my dad. And then due to COVID, they decided they weren't going to have the State Fair because
Smart.
of the amount of crowd,
Smart.
which is smart. But then after, I guess they were like, sorry, carbonated water in pregnancy. But after, I guess they were like trying to think of ways that they could still salvage the fair and let these people that it's their livelihoods as far as the times that they go and they sell their foods and they work the fair. Anyways, they were trying to think of an alternative, and so they had a drive-through state fair. So basically what you did is you get in a car. Each car, you purchase a ticket, and the ticket includes a variety of food items and a midway prize, and you get to drive through the fairgrounds. You step out, you take a picture with Big Tex, which is the big thing to always do as well. It's an attraction. And then you get to go drive through and you sit in the parking lot and have a picnic with your fair food.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
The Texas State Fair is like a big deal. For those that don't live in Texas and don't understand, like
it's a big deal.
It's one of the biggest fairs in the country, and it's a pretty huge deal.
Yeah.
So getting to do it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was good to do something. And yeah, I mean, I was a little nervous about how they were going to do all of it, but like very well done.
It was.
We heard horror stories about how it took 5 hours to wait in a line of cars.
Weekend.
It took like 30 minutes to get through the line, and then like another 30 minutes to get through the fair itself, picking up the food. And that was it. And that was not bad at all.
So we got in line and parked and out sitting, eating in like an hour, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we just
spent
stayed.
another hour hanging out there eating.
Yeah.
And it was like it's cool in
I got
Texas
my corn
now.
dogs.
Yeah, you
one for
devoured
me
those
and
corn.
one for the baby.
Although the baby didn't finish his.
No, he couldn't. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
He was nervous about those hot dogs, you know. Can't always trust hot dogs.
What?
You know.
No, I don't. I don't know.
Hot dogs, questionable meat.
I mean, yes.
But anyways, so those are my two Rosies.
Okay.
I'm done unless
You're
you
done?
want to talk about it anymore.
No. State Fair. It was a lot of fun.
Who's your Rosie?
My Rosie is head scratches. And I want to explain this because we were laying on the couch and Elyse is like, have you picked a rose for the show yet? And I was like, no, not yet. And she was like, well, you got to pick something. And I said, head scratches. And my play here was, if I'm going to talk about head scratches on the podcast, I need to get one to have something to talk about. So it was really just a complicated ploy to get Elyse to scratch my head. But I really liked my head being scratched. I think everyone.
You know what my rose is for next week?
What?
Nightly back rubs.
I
think that's what it's going to be.
I think it's going to be your thorn. I think my rose is way less time commitment for you than yours. I rub your back all the time. But I really like getting my head scratched. It feels really good. It's really good.
But like I told you, once the baby comes around, no more scratches for Scotty.
No, we'll teach the baby to scratch my head. That's the play.
We'll teach the baby to rub my back.
It's just like we're going to teach the baby to mow the lawn. We're going to teach the baby to vacuum the house. Teach the baby to scratch my head.
That's why we're having a boy. We're going to make him work.
You can make a girl work.
Yeah, I mowed the lawn.
Yeah. Lawnmowers are not that heavy and they're self-propelled now. So, like,
our neighbor girl was weed whacking.
Yeah.
We're going to make this kid work.
Work. Angelica.
Baby Daily.
That's the song. Hamilton.
I got it.
Yeah, so I really like my head. And Elyse does this thing with her fingers where she'll like draw around
the eyes on the sinuses.
The eyes, and it's like, yeah, it's on the sinus. It feels so fucking good, y'all. And you didn't do that when you did the scratch. I didn't. It was a very, I'll say this about my rose head scratch. It was a very reluctant head scratch, but I did fall asleep during it because that's what happens.
You do that all the time. Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. Just keep it up, babe. I'll run this rose back every week, but it's up to you. Ball's in your court.
Well, you're not going to have it as a rose next week. But we are going to talk about the episode.
Yeah, let's talk about the OC now, because you just bummed me out. No head scratching going on in this one.
Nope, none at all. Okay, Scott. Oh, you didn't write the overview.
It's fine, I'll wing it. I got this.
Okay, well, The Showdown is the 22nd episode of season 2 of the OC. It was written by John Stevens and directed by our boy, Michael Fresco.
Michael Fresco. Lots of good directorial decisions by Mr. Fresco.
It aired. Oh, I have the wrong air date.
It
wasn't Cinco de Mayo.
It was 7 days after that. Quick, do math.
It was May the 12th.
There you go. You did it.
2005.
May the 12th, 2005. May the 12th be with you.
May the 4th.
This week on the OC, I would say, Elyse, tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I would say the Mentos is dropped into the Coke.
No, it hasn't dropped in the Coke yet, Scott.
I beg to differ.
Here's what we did. We opened them both, and then we realized we needed to take this outside. So we took the Coke and Mentos outside because we know that when it pours together, it's going to be too messy for us to clean up.
There's a lot of explosions in this week's episode,
Scott,
babe. Everybody's fighting.
Scott, if you knew you would know that the explosion has not happened yet.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, if you knew, you would know.
It's true.
Yes, obviously it's true. By definition. If you knew, you would know.
You would know.
You would know. If you knew, you would know.
Exactly.
It's a wild episode. So
yeah, we took it outside. We took that Mentos and we took that Coke and we said, no mess in here. We're taking it outside. And not just outside. We took it outside on the grass.
Why on the grass? Why is that worse or better?
Because then the concrete's not sticky.
Gotta watch for that sticky concrete. This week on the show, Trey is continuing to be the worst human being ever. He's fully slotted himself into that category and will remain there for the rest of the show, it seems like.
I thought about what the Mentos and Coke metaphor was for this week before.
I need you to...
You knew it wasn't going to be pouring it together. Not yet.
Can I explain what happened on the show?
Yes.
Seth and Zach continue their battle for the heart and soul of the show, and
they declare their battle in this episode.
Yeah. I wish I could just get through the thing.
I wish you would have written it down beforehand so I knew what you were doing.
Well, you can just listen to me and let me go, and
I'm not good at that.
Not interrupt me. I know. Everyone listening to the show knows that is not one of the skills you excel at.
Continue.
Kirsten and Sandy's have their own showdown where the events of the entire season come to a head and end in a car crash and maybe a death.
Spoiler.
What?
They didn't know there's a car crash.
Babe, we're talking about the episode of the show.
We were going to talk about at the end.
Look, we cannot tailor the events of the podcast for the portion of our audience that don't actually watch the OC. We have to assume...
Scott, we know everyone watches this show along with us.
That we have to assume that everyone that is listening to this has already seen the show. I know it's not true, but we have to assume. And that's the way we're going to operate. And you interrupted me again. So...
Continue.
Also, Caleb and Julie get a divorce, maybe. They're at the end. I'm done with my thing. Now you can talk. Please talk.
I don't have anything to talk about.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I mean, the big thing on this episode is every one of our season-long things is popping off crazily.
Popping off, but not quite popping the Mentos in just yet.
It is called the Showdown, but really it should be the Showdowns. Because there's like a bunch of them. Or is it Shows Down? Is it like Attorneys General?
No.
Shows Down. We got some shows down going on.
No.
I like it better that way. I'm going to say it that way from now on.
Of course you do, because it's wrong. And you like to do things wrong.
So, Elyse.
Yeah.
Tell me what you thought of the Showdown.
I already told you. I thought it was an important episode, and it was too much to handle inside, so we had to take it outside.
There's a difference between your ongoing Mentos metaphor and if you liked the episode or not.
I think I've answered this before, Scott. Doesn't everybody love the Mentos and Coke explosion experiment?
I don't know if everybody does.
Scott, who doesn't love the Mentos?
Could you maybe, in your explanation for what you liked about the episode, talk about the episode?
Well... I could.
but you will not.
But the grass is always greener in the Cohen's yard.
You're just saying things. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, Scott, let me tell you.
Tell me.
Let's just start through these couples.
Wow,
we'll go through it this way.
This is a lot. You're buying a lot. Let's just move on to Rosie's and Thorny's of the episode, because if you're saying let's go through the couples, well, that's just relationship status.
Well, I was just going to talk about how I don't like Marissa and Ryan. I wish Trey made better decisions. you know, you kind of wish that Marissa would listen to Trey and let him apologize, but at the same time, you don't because
he crept into her bedroom.
I know, which is weird. Caleb and Julie, they were a match made in heaven, Scott.
No, they
And
weren't.
what has happened?
What has happened to the biggest and best love story in the Orange County?
Yeah. Kirsten, that Kiki.
This is not. Can we just please go on to Rosies and Thornies?
I was trying to talk you through.
I didn't need you to talk me through.
Oh, my thorn. My thorn. I was on it. I was on my thorn.
Okay. What
Kirsten. Kiki's in a slump.
Okay.
Kirsten had a really bad episode this week, Scott. We were shown last week about a drinking problem that we thought Kirsten was going to have. And this week, her drinking problem was confirmed. She was drinking vodka and tomato juice in the early morning. She was making, is it a screwdriver? Is that what the orange juice and vodka is?
Yes.
She was making screwdrivers, and she was making very strong screwdrivers. So strong that Julie commented on how much vodka there was. And I'm sure, Julie is a heavy drinker.
Uh-huh.
So there was that. She was just drinking the straight vodka so much that she passed out on the couch. Sandy was picking up on it, and he was smelling the drinks, so he kind of knew. But she got to a really low point this episode where she had been. It was weird because you see them do a little bit better, but then you see them get worse, and then it's just been a constant back and forth. And this Carter leaving, it took a big toll on her.
Well, I like what she said.
Yeah.
To Julie, of all people.
Something happened between me and Sandy. This wall came between us. And Carter just made me feel less alone, like Sandy used to. And now he's gone.
And it really shows something that I don't think we talked about enough when we got to the whole Rebecca Bloom thing, which is that they never really dealt with that as they never really talked through it and dealt with it. This huge thing happened. He didn't have an affair, but he did over the course of 3 episodes continuously choose her
over his wife.
Continuously choose this other woman. And they never really dealt with that as a couple. They just kind of she left and Sandy's like, I'm sorry, I'm back. And then they just moved on. And
I at least talk to you if I feel like you're choosing something else over me.
Yeah. Like that new Hades game. Fuck. And
no.
I stayed up way too late last night
the
playing Hades again.
With the Hercules and the Achilles and the furries and
you can't say the furries because furries are something. You mean the Furies.
No, it's the furries.
No, because furries are people that dress up in animal costumes and bang each other.
They're in the video game, right?
No.
I think they are.
No. I mean, maybe a little bit. It's a very horny game. Hades is, to be fair.
Anyways.
Yeah, we're talking about the OC. No, yeah, I think I was too much on Team Sandy to really give him shit for how he handled that whole thing.
Well, it's because he was the one that was doing something wrong, and so you wanted him to realize it and go back. And while he did realize he was making a mistake eventually and go back,
he never actually repaired that bridge with his wife. Yeah. And I think, trying to take my Sandy glasses off for a minute here, when he comes to her in this episode and is basically like, did you have an affair with Carter?
Did something happen between you and Carter?
Oh, don't do it like this.
Just tell me.
Is that what you really think?
Is it so crazy? You have a close relationship with this man when we're going through a hard time, and when he leaves, you go on a bender.
Well, nothing happened. The same way nothing happened between you and Rebecca.
Why are you bringing that up again?
Again? Sandy, what do you think this is? What do you think Carter was about?
I want you to tell me.
You left me.
Did you have an affair with him?
You don't get it, do you?
No.
She is trying at that point to tell him everything that she's been holding back. And all he can hear and all he's focused on is, Did you have an affair with him? Did you do something with him? What happened? What happened? What happened? And he fucks up. He really does fuck up. And I'm good that it's good that by the end of the episode he realizes it just in time for drunk Kirsten driving home from the bar, realizing her mistake to get hit by an 18-wheeler. And I don't know. I don't think she's dead. Can I make that prediction? Kirsten gets hit by.
I guess you can.
She's driving home drunk, gets hit by another car. I don't think she's gonna die. I don't think so.
You think it's the shock that they both needed?
Yeah, I mean, well, the truly tragic part about it is like she's at the bar, right? She's getting drunk again. She's wearing the cheap, terrible necklace that Carter bought her. That's like it was probably like a $15 gift.
Stupid gold feather. Like,
yeah,
pick out something better.
It was a cheap ass thing he bought at the wine tasting place.
I know I've given you crap about not buying me jewelry before, but you have better taste than that, and you know I wouldn't wear that, right?
Yeah. I would never buy something. It looks not good. It looks not good. But it's the thought. It's a reminder of him, and that's why she wears it. But at the end of the episode, she takes it off. She's driving home. She calls her husband, even though she's had like 3 martinis, and it's a bad call, Kirsten. And then she gets hit by a car, and it's a big 18-wheeler, and it's not good. Her car flippied.
Yep.
Her car did a flippy.
It did. It did a flippy and landed on
and then the episode ends before we can know what happens to her.
Yep.
So you listed this as your thorn because
I just didn't.
It's a bummer, right?
It's a bummer. It's not that it's like super bad. I didn't like it. It was just it's sad, and it's really sad to see people go through that. And so that's why it's my thorn.
Yeah,
you feel bad for Kirsten.
You do. You feel bad for Sandy a little bit because he doesn't know what to do. But I agree that like I was giving the show shit earlier on in the season for making Kirsten to be the constant bad guy. Sandy's the perfect one. Kirsten's the bad one. The show really liked doing that. Very, very male centric this show is at times. But I like that here now at the end of the season, like Kirsten is the one punished by the show. She's the one that gets hit by a car, but Sandy fucked up. And I think he's realized it. And that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
He did. Scott, what's your thorn?
My thorn is Trey.
What about him?
Trey is my thorn. Just everything about
everything
Trey.
about him?
Basically everything.
The fact that he has a job?
I don't care about that. The show doesn't show his job. Well, yeah, it does. He's stacking
show his
beer.
job.
It shows his job in a heavily 80-yard section. That whole conversation when they're outside on the pier and he's stacking beer, that there's no way the dialogue we heard there was recorded on that pier. There's no way. It looks so 80-yard. It's hilarious. But Trey in this episode had, at the end of last week, he assaulted Marissa, and the only reason he stopped was because she hit him on the head with a giant fucking piece of driftwood.
Thankfully, they have that driftwood.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, it's not like he realized. He realizes at the end that he fucked up.
He didn't stop himself.
Right.
That's the important thing.
And he realizes at the end of the episode that he's made a mistake and fucked up, and so he's kind of desperate. He's desperate to get an apology from Marissa. He's like calling her all the time, and he's like creeping outside her school, like waiting for her to get out of school so he can talk to her. He's just being really super creepy. And the creepiest moment comes when he just walks in her house. She's laying down crying because this thing is fucking her up. It is fucking her. And of course it would. Like there's this whole part in the episode where she like tries to make out and get hot and heavy with Ryan, and she can't stop seeing Trey. It's like, I actually think that I was talking about the direction of this episode earlier. That scene where she's like making out with Ryan and it keeps cutting back and forth between Trey and Ryan is just fantastically done from a directorial perspective. Like the cuts, the timing of it, the uncomfortableness of it. It is an uncomfortable scene. It's gross. And it was really well done. But so she's like weeping and he creeps into her room, Elyse.
I know. You would think that he would learn. I mean, that's a criminal act, breaking into the house.
Yeah. And especially like sneaking up behind someone laying in their bed and tapping them on the shoulder after you have violated them.
Yeah, not a good move, Trey.
Yeah.
Think with your head.
And the interesting thing though is this is what shows like Trey did a terrible thing and he should be punished for the terrible thing he did. But if he was legitimately sorry for it and like but he's not interested in actually doing the things that a person should do when they've made a horrible mistake and are trying, like, because he wants the apology. He demands the apology. And then when she refuses to give it, he gets angry and almost violent.
How did you get in here?
The back door's open. Look, I just want to talk.
Get out.
Look, I'm sorry, Marissa. Okay, I was out of my mind.
And that's an excuse?
Look, I didn't plan it, okay? It just happened.
I don't want to hear it.
Look, I just want things to go back like they were. Okay, I never meant to hurt you.
Me? What about Ryan? I mean, he's your brother. He loves you. He would do anything for you.
Look, I said I'm sorry.
Yeah, he does. He has to hold it back.
And then he immediately switches from forgive me to don't tell Ryan.
You don't want to accept my apology? That's fine. But I want you to promise me you will not say anything to him.
Get out.
So that's all he cares about at this point. He doesn't care about her. He doesn't care about what he's done to her. All he cares about is how this is going to damage his relationship with his brother, because he and his brother have finally gotten to a good place, which is true. They have finally gotten to a good place, and all he cares about is that this is going to fuck up his relationship with his brother. And it's just like, fuck you, dude. Mm-hmm. Fuck you. I hate him. I hate him so much. I hope he leaves fucking town forever.
You're about to say something else there, Scotty.
I was. I calmed it down. I don't like saying I wish people die. That makes me uncomfortable. But I hope he leaves town forever.
Well, what you say is, I just think it would be better if they weren't alive anymore.
I don't want them to die. That's like the Batman, the Dark Knight Rises, or not the Batman Begins thing. It's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either. It's like a technicality. It's like, I'm not going to wish you dead, but I'm not going to wish you alive either.
Hey,
it works. It works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he sucks. And I think that the most upsetting part of this episode to me is their portion of the episode ends with Trey leaving Marissa's house. And Ryan is there. And Ryan sees Trey leaving Marissa's house.
After Jess already planted the seed about somebody else being into brothers.
Yep. Evil, stupid Jess has planted the seed. And so the thing that you're supposed to take away is that Ryan is going to assume that there is some actual relationship going on between Trey and
or that
and
at least
Marissa.
something happened.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I don't know if he'd go right to the reality of the situation. I think he's going to think that his brother and Marissa are hooking up, and he's going to confront his brother next week. And I mean, this is with your Mentos, stupid shit. The only part of this big explosion that's going to happen that has yet to be resolved is Ryan figuring out about it. Like, everything else was kind of exposed itself in this episode. Like, all the conflicts were directly engaging with each other. But this Ryan Trey thing, that is the only thing that has yet to be really resolved. So I think you're right that could be our dropping in the Mentos moment.
I know what the moment is, Scott.
I hate that, like, this is a thing.
And if
that
you
you've done
knew,
to me now.
You would know.
Stop it. But yeah, I mean, it just sucks. And I hate Jess. I hate Jess.
Everybody hates Jess.
Now she's like suddenly like hitting on Ryan just to fuck with him.
Trying to stick her hands in his pocket.
Yeah.
Girl, no. He doesn't want your hand in his pocket.
No, and I hate Trey, and I hate it.
Sorry.
It hurts
Sorry
me.
you hate it.
It hurts me.
Sorry.
But let's talk about some good things.
Okay, let's talk about Zach and Seth, because you know how much I love Zach and Seth. The triangle with them in summer and the comic book really is square. And this week, Zach and Seth declared war on each other. They have decided that there is only one man that's going to be able to get it for summer, and they are both going to be fighting to the finish.
Can we just zoom back to get it for summer? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Get it.
Get summer is really what I should have just
Get
said.
it.
Anyways, so you've got... So really, I can't just like pick one part about this whole dynamic.
It's the whole thing.
Because Zach plays this whole card about how important Summer is to him. And so he tells Summer that he's going to stop the comic and he's going to choose Summer over the comic because there's been too much strife. And so she is all over that. So what does Seth do? Seth goes and tells Reed that Zach is going to leave. And so whenever they go and they have lunch and Zach says he's going to pull out, she says that there's going to be a lawsuit if he pulls out.
See,
and so like Seth had gone behind Zach's back.
That's interesting because I don't know if Seth actually did that. I think
that's what is assumed by Zach.
Yeah, but I don't know if Seth actually did that. I think it's just Reed as a businesswoman, and he did sign a contract, and
he did.
I think the one thing about this that's so great is that while these two are fighting over Summer, Summer realizes that Reed is the puppet master.
Yeah,
behind this whole thing.
I have a question. Where's your cutout? Or have they not made Super Bitch yet?
Is this about Seth and Zach?
You and your comic have turned those two idiots into complete idiots.
Graphic novel. And I'm trying to run a business.
You have played one against the other, manipulating Seth and then threatening Zach so you could end up with all of the power.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Well, you're gonna be. Because I'm going to tell them both, if either of them has anything to do with you, I'm never speaking to them again.
Pulling both of their strings and pushing them against each other, probably to get control of the idea itself, because now they've signed away the rights to the idea to this place, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I doubt Father Cohen looked at this contract in a lot of detail. It's probably a contract that's not good for these two high schoolers. But yeah.
Yeah, so there was that part. But then there was the part where Zach is continuing to try to win Summer over, so he's having little dates with her. So Seth decides to use the comic book club to spy on them, and then goes and finds them down by the pier and basically spoils the beans to Summer that Zach did not give up the comic. And so she's really upset at Zach now, and Seth's like, oh. Anyway, so then after that, yes, you're right.
They're both the baddies.
Yeah, but she then realizes that it's really Reed. And so she goes down to confront Reed, and then Reed ropes Summer in because she's like, these boys are just the comic, but whenever it comes time after all the comics are sold, you're going to be the one that people want to take pictures with, and you're going to be the one that's going to be famous. And so she's like, I know that you're just manipulating me, but I like it.
And so she ends up doing a photo shoot in Little Miss Vixen costume.
Yeah.
And then they start fighting over her.
Yeah,
I think
they have a real showdown, a fist fight showdown, which is pretty funny.
They do. And at the end, they say, okay, Summer, you have to choose. And what does my girl Summer do? She says, okay, neither of you. And she storms off. And I'm like,
well, stop acting like little boys.
They are acting like children. I think my favorite quote in the whole episode, though, is when Zach says, I'm a water polo player. We're never nice.
I see what you're doing. Let me tell you something. It's not gonna work, okay? She will see it for the cheap ploy that it is, eventually.
Look, Seth, I've always liked you, but if I have to sacrifice our friendship to be with Summer, I'll do it.
Amazing. This whole time I thought you were a nice guy.
Wake up. I'm a water polo player. We're never nice guys.
Well, it looks like I won't have to worry about adding you to Atomic County. You're already there. The demon water polo player, the Ironist's nemesis.
And it's gonna take a little bit more than quick quips and pop culture-laden bromides to win Little Miss Vixen.
So it's war.
It's war.
Yeah, it was good. It was just like absolute perfection from all of them in this episode. It made it so enjoyable.
And I actually really appreciate it because the other half of this episode, the Kirsten half, the Trey half, is very, very dark.
It's
very dark. There's a lot of really emotional, messy stuff going on there. And so you have this thing that is just kind of goofy, and it is good. Like, it is good to switch over to this and just feel okay about laughing at the silliness of all this stuff.
That's true.
The stupid comic book stuff. I will say I am still upset that since our big Spider-Man kiss moment, their relationship has just sucked. I really thought, again, the only thing I knew about the show going into it was the Spider-Man kiss. And I assumed that this was going to be the start of their successful relationship. And it is not. It is not at all. It is the start of more and more mess that could end up with, I mean, I don't know what she's going to do, but I wouldn't want to be with either of these dudes if I were her.
I wouldn't either.
Sucks.
Even as both of them bring their own pluses to the relationship. Too many negatives.
Trey's got that long hair now. I think Seth makes fun of Trey's hair at some point.
Oh, Sethala.
Not Trey. Sorry, I said Trey. Zach. Zach's got that long hair.
Oh, yeah, he does.
It's really like he's grown it out. It's very long.
Okay, Scott. I'm ready for your rose.
My
What'd
rose
you like?
is the other big plot line, the other big showdown. I think we've covered all 4 of our big showdowns on this week's episode. And my rose of the episode is the Julie Cooper Caleb Nicol showdown. Specifically, I want to point out Julie Cooper making an effort, which she does.
She does. She puts an apron on.
She does. She's wearing an apron and she makes Eggs Benedict.
If I could make Eggs Benedict like that, I know I'd never lose you.
Yeah,
but I can't.
Poaching an egg, turns out, it's real. Actually,
it's very hard.
It's a pain in the ass to do. So yeah, she takes 2 hours to make him Eggs Benedict, and Caleb's response is, "You made Eggs Benedict for a man with a heart condition," which I mean, fair point. It's dripping with hollandaise sauce, but she really, I mean, this is the thing. It's like throughout so much of this episode, and we know her motivation is the money, right? Like she doesn't really love Caleb. She's not really into Caleb. She wants to stay married to him because she wants that sweet paycheck. And so that's not the best motivations. But maybe I just love Julie Cooper a little bit too much. But I did think there were moments in this episode of her genuinely wanting the marriage to work and wanting to get to a place where they're okay. Like she wants to go to counseling. Like she actually wants, like, first of all, for Julie Cooper to spend 2 hours cooking for a man, like she's not done that much work in her life. So that's like more work than any work she's ever done to get that paycheck. But then wanting to go through counseling, and like when he says he's not a counseling person, but I'll we'll have a really nice date and talk through this. She's genuinely excited. She puts on this nice dress that we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Are you going to talk about the really bad hand dress?
No, I missed it. What's the really bad? We'll get
it
there.
It was covered in prints of hands. You didn't see it?
No.
It was the really brightly colored one. The pattern was hands.
Who was wearing it?
Julie.
I totally missed that. I totally missed it. So I was too busy feeling bad for her.
Man, let me see if I can find it.
And then at the end of the episode, she confronts Caleb and says, "You're divorcing me?" And he throws the pictures at her. The pictures of her and porn dude making out. And she genuinely and then he said, Elyse, he says he knows about every single affair that she's had.
Yeah.
With that with that teenage boy last year.
You had me followed?
You have been monitored to one degree or another since before we were married. The affair you had with your former husband. Tryst last year with that high schooler, Luke.
Oh my God.
I mean, your daughter's boyfriend. What will people think?
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. It's still wrong, Julie.
It's so wrong. And then Caleb finishes off the whole thing. He's such a mean asshole, and I love it. He finishes off the whole thing as, "Oh, by the way, you're fired."
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know what's going to happen.
Got nothing left.
I don't know what's going to happen to Julie now. They got that big old house. What are they going to do?
I don't know, Scott. What do you think they'll do?
I don't know.
Oh, there's no pictures of the dress in this.
Oh, that's what you were doing on your phone.
I was trying to find the hand dress. I'm sorry. I'll have to just go through the episode and show it to you, and then we'll just have to talk about it off camera. Because this is like something where you always think that Julie is dressed to a T. It's when she went to Kiki's and they had the screwdrivers.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't remember seeing a hand dress.
It's printed hands.
That's terrible.
Yes, it's an ugly dress.
You know why? It's because she puts on her least good. She puts on her worst clothing when she's going to hang out with the Cohens because she doesn't really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Julie Cooper making some Eggs Benedict, and the end of their marriage was my rose because I thought it was a delightful little plot line.
Yeah, he did it really.
He really was mean.
Low.
Because I mean, one of the things I love about it is that she comes to the office to ask him to go to counseling, and delivers him the photos. She unknowingly delivers him the photos of her cheating on him. And he like is just like she's talking to him and like begging him to go to counseling while he's flipping through. And they don't show the photos to the very end of the scene, but I was like, oh, those are the photos. He's looking at them right now, and she's begging for another chance. It's so good. It's so good, man. When the show is really firing on all cylinders, it's so fun. I love it.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my rose, and that is the episode. Anything else you wanted to talk about the episode?
No.
I have a question for you.
What?
Do you think that Seth's apology to Summer was a good one?
The fact that he went up to her and was going to like be honest with it.
He was going to
say,
tell her.
No,
about
I think that was
spring
good.
break. That was good. And I, mean,
I really would have given him some credit for it.
Well, I mean, as Ryan says it, also it was on national television show, so she'll see it eventually. So,
yeah.
But and then at the very end of the episode, in the comic book shop, he's apologizing heartfelt to her. And it's working. And then Zach shows up, and then they fight very badly. They fight very badly.
I love when Seth just jumps on him and then like grabs his face because he has no idea what to do. It's perfect.
It is. All right. So that's the episode. Good episode.
All right, Scott. Come on. Tell me about the style in this episode. Hey. Come on.
Were you done with the song? I can never tell. It changes every week, so I can't tell.
Do you not like that I change it every week?
Love the song. Never. I mean, keep doing what you're doing is what I mean.
Okay.
Never change, babe. I love you.
Thanks.
This week on the show, we've got a couple entries for Summer. The first Summer entry is the Little Miss Vixen costume she's wearing at the comic book shop, which is interesting because...
That's not her Little Miss Vixen costume.
I didn't take a picture of it. I'm just going to talk about it.
What? That's the one that she wore whenever Seth was going to draw her.
I know, which is weird because...
How did Reed get it?
Reed says specifically, wait till you show the costume we've got for you.
Yeah.
And it's just the same costume she was wearing. So it's like, oh, you've got my costume that I made. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool. It's not that, like, she's hot. Rachel Bilson's very attractive. But it's not that good of a costume. It looks kind of goofy.
It's very just thrown together. It's
mask,
like what she would do for a Halloween costume.
It's like a Halloween costume. Yeah. The mask doesn't work. It's not lighting. It doesn't look comfortable.
No.
She's not good at cosplay is what I'm saying. Not a good cosplayer.
That.
The other outfit of hers that I want to talk about is the outfit she's wearing when she goes to confront Reed, though. Reed is always dressed very professionally. She's always dressed in a suit, a pantsuit. And Summer is not in a pantsuit. She's in it's a skirt with a top. I don't know. Elyse knows the words for them. But she's got this light blue, this sky blue blazer over top of it. And so they kind of made her dress a little bit more professional to go confront the professional. And I dig it. I dig this look. Mm-hmm. I like it, Summer. Dress more like this. Summer's always doing great.
You like when I dress like that?
I do. You have a very good sense of style, babe.
Thank you.
I mean, you wake up before I do because you have to go to work, and my going to work is getting out of bed and walking into my office. Mm-hmm. But I sometimes wake up while you're getting ready and just like watch you put your outfit together, and I'm like, she looks good.
Yeah, I'll pass that along to our son.
She looks good. Yeah, thanks. I know. Elyse has bought some already just fucking adorable clothing for our son.
Be careful, you can't say those things around him. He hears you now.
What, fucking?
Yes.
Fuck.
No, say nice things around him only.
Frack.
No more swearing. Fork.
No, I don't want to good place it. I'll say frack.
No.
Why?
Just don't say it.
No. It's fine. He won't remember it.
It's not fine.
He won't remember. He's
going to remember. And you're going to give him a potty mouth.
I mean, that's bound to happen.
No,
anyway.
He doesn't need one.
So anyway, next outfit I want to talk about is Marissa puts on this black number. And this is her, I am going to really try to get with my boyfriend to try to move past this issue I'm having.
Still cover up the bruise on my chest.
Yes, she's still covering up the bruise on her chest, but it is an outfit that covers up the bruise on the chest while still showing the boobies.
It goes all the way down to her cleavage.
It goes below the cleavage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of booby in this dress. It's a big old booby dress, and it successfully tricks you into thinking Marissa has bigger boobies than she does. I don't know how all that works. That's some science that I can't comprehend.
Yeah, actually, if you have really small boobs, they say to wear a longer neckline because the way that it cuts, it makes you seem fuller.
It's contouring. It's all an illusion.
Well, it's not quite contouring.
It's contouring. She probably put makeup on that boob to make it look like a bigger boob.
They probably did.
Yeah.
And probably gave her some padding too.
Yeah, I feel bad because like this is such an obvious ploy to like force
Follow the eyes.
force herself over.
Yeah.
The shit she's dealing with, which she shouldn't have to do. Like, it's really sad that she tells nobody about that this happened. It's really sad that she feels like she can't. Like, she doesn't tell Summer. She can't tell her boyfriend. She hasn't, like, her. God, imagine telling her mom. Ugh. Her mom would probably blame her because her mom sucks. Yeah, it's really sad. And I think this outfit, like, kind of encapsulates her desperation where she's trying so hard to move on and move past it.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
It is. It's very sad.
And last but not least, it's my girl.
Juju.
Handprint dress aside, she wears this dress. It's this very tight, form-fitting dress. This the same type of dress Julie always wears. She's showing off some boobies too, but it's like a sequin
stripes.
It's like a sequiny, stripy dress, and it looks really good on her. And it looks so good, and it's so bright and colorful because she's so happy and excited that her marriage is going to get back on track, and he's willing to work on it, and everything's going to be okay.
She thinks.
And then the woman comes and gives her the papers, the divorce papers.
She's been served.
You've been served.
Not dinner. I make that joke later.
Oh, then why did you make it now?
I just forgot.
Oh, so yeah, good all around. All the ladies of the OC, good job. You dressed well.
Good, like it.
The men wear the same. I feel bad because I want to talk about the men's style a little bit too, but they wear the same shit every time.
Yeah, it's nothing good.
Seth wears polos. Ryan
sometimes graphic tees.
Ryan wears a button down. Trey wears a tee.
Zach has the most interesting style with his cargos.
The cargos did not look good today. Like when they're walking out, they've declared war on each other and they're walking down the hallway and they're trying to both look intimidating, and he's there with his like baggy ass cargos.
I hope cargos never come back in style.
They will, baby. They
will. Gross.
All right, Elyse, let's talk about relationships.
Okay. We're going to start off with Sandy and Kirsten Cohen. Last week, they were at a 6 out of 10. Kirsten keeps going to the bottle to drown her sorrows now that Carter has gone. The Sandy sense is strong, and he can tell that something is up with Kirsten, and it smells like vodka.
The Sandy sense?
Yeah, I'm coining it.
The Sandy sense.
The Sandy sense.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. He confronts Kirsten, but she deflects and then eventually hits a point of rage before she goes to the bar. She recognizes that she really wants Sandy and leaves the bar, intoxicated, to drive home. Sandy and Kirsten have a conversation about how much they love each other before Kirsten is in a wreck. We're going to bump him up to an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
We are. Because they really struggled, but Sandy was trying and he kept trying. And because he kept trying, Kirsten was able to realize that that's where she wanted to be. And she hit that point and they were going to go back together. It's just, we don't know if they're ever going to go above an 8 out of 10.
If she's going to go out, she's going to go out riding high on her 8 out of 10. Okay, that's fine.
Is that okay?
We leave one of our 2 relationship people in a flipped over car, probably dead, but 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Sure.
Yep. Okay.
Next up, we have Julie Cooper and Caleb Nicol. Last week, we gave them a 3 out of 10. Julie is still trying to make Caleb happy, but he doesn't even meet her halfway. After another attempt by Julie to get Caleb to take their relationship seriously, Caleb suggests meeting at Arch's for dinner. Instead of Caleb showing up, Julie is served with divorce papers instead of dinner.
It's a funny joke.
Good job, Elyse. We're going to officially put them at a 0 out of 10. This is the death of their relationship, possibly.
Right now.
This seems a little premature to me, but I would have put it at 1.
Fine, we can put it at a 1.
Well, I mean, are you telling me we're not going to have any Julie Cooper, Caleb Nicol relationship status stuff to talk about next week?
I don't know.
Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know, Scott.
All right, well, they're 0. They're off the board. Off the board. Elyse's rule
they can always
is the
come
law.
back.
Off the board forever.
I guess
Elyse,
we'll give him a 1 out of 10.
Nope, 0.
Okay.
Elyse, tell me about Summer and Seth.
Summer and Seth last week were a 1 out of 10. Seth debates telling Summer about what happened in Miami. He finds her at school and tries to tell her what happened, but she tells him that she already knows and that she kissed Zach. They both don't know exactly what this means, but there's this whole back and forth, and there's the showdown. So we're just going to keep them at a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought
she hasn't chosen yet.
It was interesting. She has not chosen yet. I mean, she did at the end of the episode. She kind of chose neither, but yeah, it was in the moment. She was angry. She'll calm down. But I think it's interesting that like she says she doesn't know what that means, but then her and Zach are like at the restaurant eating, and then like walk out the door, and she's got her arm like around his arm, and I'm like, wait, so are they dating now? I don't know.
It's a
Next
mystery.
up, we have Kirsten and Carter. Last week we left them at a 1 out of 10. Carter left for his new job. He's not in this episode. When the man cleaned out his office, they discovered a gift he left behind for Kirsten. It's cheap and shitty, but she opens it and finds a necklace. She calls to thank him, leaves a message, and then regrets what she said. She is confused, but Carter is gone. 0 out of 10. They're off the board. Off the board.
Ryan and Marissa are next. Last week we're at a 6 out of 10. Ryan attempts to fall back into the old boyfriend ways, but Marissa is dealing with the trauma caused by Ryan's brother. Last week, she ends up pushing Ryan away because she doesn't want to tell him the truth about his brother. So we're going to bump them down to a 3 out of 10.
Ugh, this is such a hard relationship, but I think I agree with that. I think they need to deal with some stuff, and hopefully for them, they'll be okay with it on the other side. Next, we have Trey and Jess. They are still rolling around the sheets and having a good time. Trey doesn't think it's anything more than just a good time. Jess is having a good time as long as she's causing trouble. And also, Jess has like become the new person. Remember early season 1 where Summer was the character on the show where like every time we see her, she's in either a bra or a swimsuit.
Yes.
And that's like all they ever did to poor Rachel Bilson. Well, Jess is the new that. Like she's just in a bra every single time we see her. Every single time.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely a relationship. They're just banging.
Yeah.
That's what a 2 out of 10 means. Just
Scott,
banging. What?
We got another relationship like back.
It's back.
We guess. I don't know.
Is
Summer
back.
and Zach, are they back on? Zach is clearly still into Summer and tells Seth that he's willing to put up a fight for her. Summer appreciates Zach's willingness to put her before the comic. Who's she going to choose? We're actually going to put them at a 3 out of 10. We're putting them there, which is above Seth and Summer. And I know I went back and I double checked, but Zach has made more attempts that Summer has reciprocated this episode. So whether we know who she's choosing or not, she was at least putting forth more effort with the Zach relationship than she was with the Seth relationship.
Well, he did display that he's willing or wanting to give up the comic for her.
So that's why...
Which is weird that Seth doesn't even think about the possibility of doing that.
No,
He's just like, absolutely not.
Self-absorbed.
Yeah,
Seth.
yeah.
But anyway, that's why I had them at a 3 out of 10.
I understand and I approve. And we'll see where it is next week when those Mentos hit that Coke.
Oh, you think that's going to happen?
I don't know,
week?
babe. I'm just saying words at this point.
Oh, I know what's going to happen next week.
I know you do, because that's the whole dynamic of the show.
Did you see who is a main plot point in this episode next week?
No,
you didn't read the little bio?
I did not read the little bio
Can I just give you one? Just give you the name?
Sure.
George Lucas.
What?
Yep. George Lucas.
They were playing a Star Wars game in this week's episode. It was the Return of the Sith Star Wars game. George Lucas.
George Lucas.
I mean, it's obviously something
big.
It's obviously something Seth and it's Seth something.
Big deal next week. Big deal. Big deal next week.
Maybe he wants to option the comic into like
big
a movie?
deal next week, Scott. George Lucas.
Is George Lucas in the episode?
Scott, I don't know.
Did they get George Lucas to...
Did the Mentos hit the Coke?
Jesus. Next week's episode is called The O.C. That's spelled S-E-A, as in the ocean.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Yep.
I can't make any predictions off of that name, other than, I guess, maybe they're going to go to an aquarium.
Maybe.
I don't know.
With George Lucas.
George Lucas is at the aquarium. Yeah, could be. I don't know.
We'll just see.
We will see. We will O-see.
We will. Okay. Well, everyone, that's all that we have time for this week. So if you like this podcast, you can donate. That would be wonderful. You can donate any range of money from $1 to the amount in your bank account. We'll just transfer the funds right on over there.
You can donate the amount of money that Julie is not going to get from Caleb in a divorce because she cheated on him.
That's over at patreon.com/doofmedia. But don't just give money because you like our show. It might be because you like all the other shows that we do over at doofmedia.com. Scott, what show do you want to highlight this week?
I want to talk about a show called Decomposing Worm. It is a show done by Clarence and Matthias, two of our guys who have gone through the web serial Worm in 6 chunks. The reason I'm bringing this up is because they just finished the show last Friday. They are finally done. They've made it all the way through Worm. And they had some really good conversations and some very long episodes, longer than our episodes, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
But they're all done now, and they're going to take a break, the two of them. And I think they're going to come back to talk about another Wild Bow web serial called Twig. They're going to take some time off before they do that, but they'll be back. So if you haven't checked out Decomposing Worm, if you listened to We've Got Worm and liked my show along with Matt on that, I think you'll find something to enjoy in Decomposing Worm, so you should check that out. All episodes of that are available right now at doofmedia.com, as well as all of our other shows.
Yeah. Well, we hope that you like this podcast, and if you do, and if you like any of our other podcasts, you can always just go over and rate them and drop us a review over at Apple Podcasts. That's a huge help in order to help make sure that our shows are at the very top when people want to search, so that more people can find them like you and love them.
Yeah,
like
we gotta spread the word about the roses and thornies. It's sweeping the nation. This trend.
It's true. So that's it, Scott.
That's it. We're done. Hey, why do you think Caleb, he knew that Julie fucked a teenager, and he was like, that's cool.
He did it too, Scott.
That's cool.
You remember Lindsay's mom?
But then he was like, you made out with this man in front of his hotel. That is the final straw.
Well, it was the guy that was blackmailing him.
The final straw. I'm fine with the statutory rape, but I am not happy with this man make-out session.
I don't know, Scott. It's Caleb.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.